Every night I enter a world in between my dreams and here, where spirits of unknown origin consume us. The environment of this domain is constantly changing and trying to mimic, but there is always something that gives away the illusion. The only true consistency between rests are my creatures who guide me to safety when I cannot escape. Sunday morning had drifted into the early afternoon before I had gotten out of bed. The summer season had already cooked the outside air, depleting me of any desire to leave the house. The smell of cooking meat melded with that of fresh coffee, creating a bubble of comfort. My favorite meal to prepare is a late breakfast, where I get to combine ingredients of different time zones into one. That day I leaned into an experimental brunch selection. A burger patty cooked medium, complemented with Colby Jack cheese, fresh spinach, and a dill pickle, sandwiched between appropriate-sized waffles, coated in a pesto aioli. The plate includes a side of runny eggs. Before I could make my way around the kitchen counter, I found my eyes locked with the turtle standing in the center of my floor, its body still and pupils focused. As I bent over to get a closer look, it scurried to find cover, only to meet the crevice between kitchen tile and cabinetry. My eyes then drifted back to see a kitchen that was once brightened by the sun, now lit by a single bulb. The blinds that were bleeding light, now exposing the dark of night. My bountiful meal had also changed. The sweet aroma had been replaced by a near rancid stench. The pots and pans were nowhere to be found, and on my plate sat an unmoving rat. Panic set in quickly. The illusion was crumbling, and whatever had created it was sure to notice. I decided to follow the turtle's lead. I grabbed the small critter and tiptoed to the bathroom adjacent the kitchen wall. The walk was no more than a few paces, but with each step I could feel the weight held above the ceiling growing. In a combination move, I opened the door, slid in once the gap was wide enough, and pulled the handle to seal myself inside. As the door clicked shut, I could feel the handle immediately begin to turn, as if someone had just caught the exterior knob to follow me inside. I placed the turtle inside the sink to allow for both hands to hold the already turning handle. The outside force ramped up its strength, making it impossible to keep the handle from completing an opening turn. In response, I posted my feet against the doorframe and threw my butt into a squat, using all my weight and strength to keep the door closed. The game of tug-of-war had begun. As the door got pulled out, I used everything I had to jerk the door back closed, but the already turned handle made it so no stopper could keep the door in place. Back and forth I went with the entity, never getting a glimpse as to what stood behind this thin plaster door. Suddenly the force on the door grew again, causing me to lose my grip. The door flew open as I fell backward. Before I could make sense of what I saw, I felt the back of my head hit the wall. As my head met drywall, I found myself shooting forward from bed. Sweat was dripping down my forehead, and my tank top was left soaked. From my bedside, I could see my turtle, meeting my gaze with a still body and focused pupils.